Hello friends, I am so excited because Blair and I are going on holiday tomorrow. We're kind of thinking of this as like a belated anniversary kind of trip. It was our 15th anniversary earlier this year. Can you believe it? Before we go though, I need to pack, and that's what you're here to help me do. So now, for context, we're heading out to Healesville, Warburton area, which is about 2 hours away from where we live. Some things to keep in mind. Obviously, we need to deal with this weather, which is similar to what we're having here in Melbourne at the moment, but maybe just a little bit cooler, especially in the evenings and early mornings, which is relevant to us as birders. Second thing to note is that we're driving. We're not limited by space whatsoever. I don't have to pack everything into a tiny carry-on. I can take as much stuff as I want. I'm going to try not to take too much, but I'm not limited by space. And then of course the other thing is I need to take into consideration my own personal style and comfort. Two things that are very important to me. So this is going to be a very, very colourful pack with me, of course. Would it be a pack with Katey if it wasn't colourful? Anyway, with all that said, should I show you? Should I show you what I've decided I'm going to take with me? I always like to start with the pants and the bottom half because for me, those are the things that feel really kind of restricted by the weather and what I'm going to be up to. And I feel like they set the tone for what tops and shoes I'm going to want to take as well. So let's start with the bottoms. First and foremost, I've got two workwear pants. These are the pants that I almost always wear when I'm going birding. They're rigid and structured enough to protect me from I don't know, branches and snakes, but also I can move in them comfortably. So they're just about perfect. And at the moment I have two pairs that actually fit me. One pair you've already seen. These are the plain pair in cream. And then I also recently got accidentally for free these, which are from the same brand, but are a size smaller, and they are tight, but these kind of pants always loosen up as you move and wear, and they fit me. So I want to take both, seeing as we're going to be doing a lot of birding, and I like that I've got two different colors as well. The other pair of pants I want to take are these incredible Cole jeans from Lucy and Yak. Now, if I was tight for space, I wouldn't be bringing these because they're not strictly necessary. I could definitely get away with the rest of what I'm taking, but these pants just bring me so much joy. I won't be wearing them birding, but I definitely will wear them out and about, you know? I'm definitely hoping to fit in some op shopping, for example. The last thing I will be packing as far as pants or bottoms, these aren't pants, is this beautiful skirt. It's like a midi length skirt. Blair bought this for me for Christmas. Was it last year? I think it was. And I just love this. I honestly was tossing up between several. I have so many beautiful skirts. I love my skirt collection. I truly, truly do. I just love my wardrobe, don't I? But anyway, I had gone back and forth on a handful of skirts, but I think I've landed on this one. I think in part just because I haven't worn it as much super recently and I'm just in the mood to whip it out, but also it's just a great color and I feel like it's going to go with so many of the tops that I'm bringing. So I'm excited for this to be in the mix while we're away. And then I did also just want to bring some comfy elastic waist kind of loose pants, and again I was tossing up between a few, but I think I've decided I'm actually going to take the pants that I'm wearing right now. I think I'm going to wear them up on the drive. So I'm not going to be packing them, but I am going to have these on me just as another option. So 2 birding options and then 3 other time options. I think we've got our bases covered. Next up, should we talk about the tops? And there are quite a lot of tops. For the warmer days, I am going to be bringing 2 t-shirts. Just a striped one that I've had for years and that I love to wear. It's very comfortable. I feel like this is probably the one that I'll wear if we go birding on one of the hot days. And then I'm also going to be bringing just this plain, very bright pink t-shirt that we thrifted recently. I could wear this birding as well, totally, but it would also go great with all of my other bottoms. Now, this next section might seem a little excessive, but as I've explained, I need to really cover my bases in terms of temperature and then also options for birding and then also just day to day. So I need options for changing. So I have 5, I think it's 5, long sleeve lightweight knits. 2 are merino wool, so they've got that little bit of extra warmth. One in a beautiful magenta, of course, and one in a green. Come on, these are my colors. Both I got secondhand over this past winter and they've been great. They're really comfortable. They're lightweight, but as I said, that merino wool just adds in that little bit more warmth. So I could wear those birding, but they will also go with all of the other bottoms I'm bringing too. Then these aren't merino wool, but they're long sleeve kind of lightweight knits as well. They're all striped. I've got one which is an old favorite that has recently been pulled out of storage. This I think is something that I'll probably wear birding. I think this will look best with those plain pants. And then these two are actually two of the same top, just in different colors. These, again, will go great with my plain pants, but also will go with the pants that I'm wearing right now. And I probably could wear them with my skirt or my coal jeans as well, but I'm less likely to do that. These three striped tops are all very comfortable. They're lightweight but long sleeve. And importantly, they've all got a bit of stretch, so they're very easy to move in, which is great for birding. I'm going to be talking a lot about that because it is one of the primary things that we're going on this holiday for. Blair and I love to bird together. So these are all definitely going to come in handy, I think. Then finally, to round out my top options, I am bringing two woolen jumpers. One in green, one in navy. This one actually I think I need to de-pill before we go. It's getting a little bit feral. This is a very pilly jumper, but it's also very, very warm and very comfortable. And both of these being, you know, relatively neutral for me anyway, colors, and just being block colors, are going to go with basically everything. So they give me options if we're going out on like a bit of a cooler evening for dinner, or if we're going birding on a cooler morning. Options, options, options. That's what it's all about. Now we are on to shoes, and I'm bringing three. I'm bringing three different shoes. Firstly, pretty much the only pair of shoes I'm bringing as just like casual shoes are my Rolly City Derbies in tan with the beautiful shoe jewelry that I have never taken off. I love it. These are looking a little worse for wear these days, but they're one of my most worn shoes. They're so comfortable. I love them. And they go with everything, of course. The other two pairs of shoes I'm bringing are very functional birding options. I've got my gum boots because we are potentially expecting some rain and I do not want that to hinder me. And then just my like good old fashioned hiking boots, which I pretty much always wear birding unless we're going somewhere like very chill, just to protect my feet and my ankles and make sure I've got lots of grip. There's a chance I won't end up having to wear my gum boots, but I would rather take them than regret not having them, especially given we're not restricted by space. Now for the accessories. This is the fun part. And again, definitely a section of my packing that I could reduce if I needed to, but I don't need to and I don't want to. For bags, I'm bringing two. I'm bringing my water bottle holder and just like a crossbody purple bag. Both of these are big enough to hold most of what I need. Like this one will hold a water bottle, obviously, but also my sunglasses, my puffer. And this one won't hold a water bottle, but it'll hold pretty much anything else I would need most days. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to bring my backpack. This is the bag that I use and wear pretty much every day. It's still a relatively small backpack, but obviously it will hold a lot more. I feel like I probably should take it just in case. I also have a feeling, though, that I probably won't use it all that much. This is probably going to spend most of its time in the cabin, but I think it'll be good to have. As for hats, yes, I've decided to bring three. Excessive, potentially, but I like color and I like options. This navy wide brim hat is something I got secondhand, I think last year, and it's probably my favorite birding hat because it's soft at the back. So when you're looking up and stuff, you don't have like a brim hitting you in the shoulders. It's great. It's just really comfy and it's got a drawstring, so I never have to worry about losing my hat. It's very lightweight. Love it. I was contemplating bringing one of my really colorful hats because I love them too, but my best friend Annie just got me this pink one for my birthday. And it doesn't have a drawstring, but it does have this little tie situation. And I just, you know me, I love this color. And of course, a brand new birthday hat, I need to christen it. It needs to head out on its first adventure. But seeing as we are going to be getting some cooler time as well, I did want to bring one of my winter hats. And although my favorite of my winter hats is probably the lilac one, the most worn is this one. I mean, obviously it's a go-to for me, so I'm going to pack it. And then finally, just as some additional accessories to make sure I keep nice and warm, I'm bringing two of the scarves, well, the two scarves that I have made for myself. Got a green one and a lilac one. The green one is my favorite and my most worn, but like this doesn't take up much space and it's nice to have some color variation. Both of these are nice and toasty because they're merino wool, but because they're kind of smaller scarves, they're not too cumbersome. They're not annoying to wear with binoculars. And then obviously also if it does kind of start to warm up, you can just slip them in a pocket or something, you know? They're so great. Like small scarves are so underrated and obviously they really don't take up all that much room. So I'm bringing both. So I guess that's it, right? No, we've got the outerwear. Of course we've got the outerwear. I can't forget that. And again, I'm taking some options. Well, I say I'm taking some options, but I honestly haven't decided exactly what I'm taking. I'm feeling a bit unsure. Obviously 5 jackets is a little is a little extreme even for me. I definitely want to make sure I'm taking my raincoat though, because again, it might rain and I don't want that to stop us. Like the gumboots, it might not even get worn, but I just feel like I need to take my raincoat. Then I also really want to take, this is a new addition to my wardrobe actually, one of the few things I have purchased brand new this year is this coat, no, not coat, this vest, quilted vest. I love this thing so much. I bought it specifically for birding. I just knew it would be the perfect thing. I do have other kind of like puffer vests and they've been pretty good for birding, but they make a lot of noise. And also I feel like because the puffer vests that I have, especially one of them is polyester, it's like, I don't know, like it definitely keeps you warm, but as the day, you know, you start quite early when you're birding and as it warms up, sometimes it gets a bit stuffy. Anyway, this is cotton, so it's not necessarily as warm, but it's toasty enough just to take the edge off, but it's still breathable, which I really appreciate. And then I love this color and I just really find it very comfortable to have an option without sleeves when I'm birding. I only had it a few weeks and already been wearing it so much. This needs to come with me. And then I sort of feel like I do want to take my like mid-weight puffer coat because I think it could be quite cold on those mornings. And I don't want to be cold. I hate being cold. But I feel like in terms of how often I'm going to wear something, I would much prefer to have like a lightweight jacket. I feel like I would wear that most days for most of the day. You know what? Now that I'm thinking through this, I think I would prefer to have my puffer jacket for those cooler mornings and maybe even those cooler evenings. And I think between this and my vest, like I probably don't need this. So I think after all of that, I might actually leave both of the shackets. I'm not going to bring like a lightweight jacket or shacket. Instead, I'm going to bring my raincoat, my vest, and my mid-weight puffer jacket. I think that's where I'm landing. I hope I don't live to regret it. Actually, you know what I might bring instead? My cardigan. I didn't even think of that. I feel like I should bring my cardigan instead. That'll be so much more versatile. Like obviously it'll be a great layer piece just to have in the evenings when we're chilling in the cabin. Is it even a cabin that we're staying in? I don't know that it's technically a cabin. The cute little cottage. Maybe it's a cottage. I think that's the word that I meant. That might be a better option. I feel like that'll be more versatile and that way I won't feel the need to bring like a lightweight jacket coat thing. I think that's the option I'm going to go with. Okay, with that out of the way, all that's left to do is to go on our cute little holiday, go look at some birds, and of course I'm going to show you every single outfit that I wear so we can see how well I did with the packing. So I'll see you in Warburton.
Bring me back to that day. I had all of this waiting ahead. It kills to be halfway alive since I had you and one till I see you again. I don't mind spending a little time away, but want your hands and I'll pixels on the web, down with this internet. I run and I run, call you up, you're on the other side. Say my name, kiss my name, but leave no mark. It's like we're right here, then I realize how can I have you when we're worlds apart? Say my name, we're not here, can only go so far.
We're home. We're back with our baby Ollie, who spent the week at my mum and dad's. Thank you so much, mum and dad, for taking care of her. We had the best time. It was just wonderful. But I mean, you're not here to hear about the 63 birds, including 18 lifers that we identified, or how good the thrifting was in Hillsville and Warburton. That's for another video, don't you worry. No, what we're here to do right now is to walk through all of the outfits I actually wore while I was away. So firstly, on our trip up, this is the outfit I wore. The pants that I told you I was going to be wearing, along with my light green striped top and my cardigan. The weather this day was actually pretty nice. It wasn't too cool. It was pretty sunny. And so I feel like this is a pretty cohesive outfit. I felt like it was pretty cute. I love the colors. And then it was also just perfectly comfortable for a couple of hours driving. I only got one clip of this outfit once we had arrived at our little cottage that we were staying in. And they had requested us not to wear shoes inside, which is why I'm wearing slippers. But I did wear my derbies on the trip up. But it's a simple outfit, so I feel like you get the idea. Anyway, once we arrived, we kind of like settled in, had a cup of tea, chilled out for a little while. But then it was time for our first birding session in the afternoon. And it was starting to get a little bit cooler, but not too much. And we were going for like a little bit of a bushwalk up near the aqueduct. It was only actually like a couple of 100 meters walk from where we were staying. It was perfect. So for this, I do what I often do. I kept the same top on, but I changed into one of my workwear pants. I love workwear pants for birding and bushwalking in general. Obviously, these ones are 100% cotton, so they're very breathable, but they're a bit more like sturdy than just like my linen flowy pants. And obviously they're much less likely to get caught on like stray branches and twigs, more likely to protect me from those sort of things and snakes, but then also much less likely to get torn or ruined. I also swapped out the cardigan for my vest. Obviously, it's like a little bit more warm, especially around the chest, but gives me a bit more movement in the arms. Also swapped out my cute little fluffy hat for an actual hat, although I didn't really need it, to be honest. Where we went was very like, I don't know if it was technically rainforest, but it felt borderline rainforest. So it was like we were very much like covered and shaded. So this was just like a perfect kind of casual, easy, comfy, but still, I think, pretty cute birding outfit for our first birding session. So that was just such a fun little walk and the perfect way to start our holiday. Okay, day 2. This is where things get a little bit wild and a little bit unexpected. Obviously, we woke up bright and early to head up the mountain, Mount Donabuang, I think it's called, to go birding. Of course we did. We were up before the sun and we stopped at a couple of places like up the mountain and we saw so many lifers this day. It was a wonderful day. And this was like the coldest day and the coldest morning by far. And also it had poured rain the evening before, like to the point where it had woken us up at like 2 a.m. from how heavy the rain was on the roof. So of course I was going to wear my gumboots because I was just ready and prepared, expecting it to just be mud everywhere. This was also the day that I wanted to be rugged up. So I had my thickest navy jumper. I did wear my purple jacket and oh my God, am I glad that I did. You'll see in a second. Had my other workwear pants on just to kind of switch it up and I kind of tried to alternate between them to let them air out because obviously I couldn't wash them. And I also was wearing a scarf and some gloves. I think I forgot to tell you that I was going to pack gloves, but I just packed the gloves that I made for myself. And then of course my drink bottle holder and my hat. And anyway, as we kind of continued our morning, we make our way up to the top of the mountain. We start to realize that there's white stuff all over the ground because it had snowed overnight. And indeed, it was still kind of just snowing, like just little tiny, tiny little bits of snow. I've never really seen proper snow before. I've seen like week-old snow when I was like 9 or 10, I think, maybe even younger. That's literally the only time I've ever seen snow. So this, I don't even know how to describe how I was feeling. I was tearing up. I was just in awe. Everything looked so pretty. And to top it off, when we got to the top of the mountain, there were tiny little flame robins everywhere. These bright, bright red robins just like hopping around in the snow. It was truly magical. I felt like I was in a winter wonderland, even though it's mid-October in Melbourne. Like, what? I feel like I was just about warm enough. Obviously, my puffer jacket is not like rated for sub-zero temperatures, which it was up there. But between my jumper and everything and my scarf, like I was cold, but I was okay. Blair was cold. He was literally just wearing a hoodie and a t-shirt and then the little scarf that I had made him. So we spent maybe like 15, maybe 20 minutes up there before my asthma started flaring up and Blair started getting too cold and we had to leave. But I am so glad I brought that jacket and I am so glad we just kind of stumbled into such a magical experience. After that, we went home, had a shower, got changed, and I just got into some more like casual clothes. It was still kind of cool, but the sun was definitely out and then like not at the top of the mountain. It wasn't as cold. So I decided to throw on my gorgeous cold jeans as well as my green jumper because like I said, I was still cold and so I wanted some warmth. And I was wearing my like purple jacket sometimes, or like I had it on me just for if it was sitting in the shade or something. But for the most part, I wasn't so much wearing the jacket, especially as the day progressed. As for hat, I had my little brown bucket hat, I had my derbies and my purple bag. The other unexpected thing that happened on this trip was about kind of midday on this day, Blair started not feeling very well. As we were kind of walking around, I think it was Warburton, and just like exploring, having a look at like the little vintage antique shop, which was fun, Blair just started going downhill quite quickly. So in the end, I ended up just taking him home. And so we ended up not birding this evening and we didn't go out to dinner. We had planned to do both of those things. So there would have been a third outfit on this day that did not eventuate. Okay, day 3. Blair was still not feeling very well, so I basically just spent the morning op shopping. I went to a bunch of thrift stores in, was it Millgrove and Warburton? And boy, did I score. Boy, did I score. Let me know if you would like a thrift haul. Because I know I've just done one relatively recently, but I've got more stuff. I've got more stuff to show you. Anyway, so while I was doing that, Blair was just having a good old-fashioned sleep in. So obviously, again, no birding this morning. However, by about lunchtime, Blair was feeling quite a bit better. So he gave me a call. I came home and picked him up. And we decided to go to the redwood forest. We weren't really expecting to bird, although of course we took our binoculars and our camera. We were more just going to have a little bit of a look. And so I didn't get changed from like my thrifting kind of outfit, what I'd been wearing all morning. I was just wearing my cold jeans again, along with my incredible magenta lightweight knit. I love these two together. I know there's no like pink or anything in the cold jeans, but the tones just work so well. I did kind of switch between my cardigan and my jacket on this day. I think I was wearing my cardigan kind of earlier in the morning when I was thrifting, but I switched over to the jacket when we went for our little bird walk because I was just like a little bit cold. Although then when we were on our walk, I got too hot. So it was sort of like an in-between kind of day. I was also wearing my bucket hat, my cute little green scarf that I knit, my purple bag, and I was wearing my rolly derbies, which was fine for thrifting, but the redwood forest was like a little bit more bushwalking in areas than I was expecting, and platform shoes were just a little less comfortable than like hiking boots would have been. So if I had known, maybe I would have switched over. But anyway, this is what I wore. I felt very cute. Later that afternoon, we decided to go for another kind of like birding bushwalk situation. This time we went to Lala Falls, which felt like probably the most rainforesty place we visited. And so again, I just did what I usually do. I kept the same top on, but I switched out for some workwear pants, a little bit more appropriate for the birding walking kind of situation. I also just wore my vest. Obviously also switched out for my boots. I had my water bottle holder. I was wearing a scarf because like the day was a little bit funny in terms of temperature and I wanted to be covered. And then because I knew we were going to be in like more of a rainforesty area, I didn't need so much coverage. I kept my bucket hat. We did have plans of like going home and getting changed before we went out to dinner. But I mean, when the sun sets at like 7:30 and you're in a tiny little town where all their kitchens close at 8, we ran out of time. So I was planning to like go home, get dressed in my like skirt or something, but we just didn't have time. We basically had to leave Lala Falls and head straight to dinner, or we wouldn't have been eating that evening. So again, another outfit that in my mind I needed to be prepared for that I didn't end up actually needing to wear. This kind of happened to us a couple of times actually, which was funny. Okay, day 4 might have been my favorite day. I don't know, it's pretty hard to compete with flame robins in the snow, isn't it? But we started out this day, again, it was pretty cold this morning and we got up very early because we wanted to go somewhere a little bit further from where we were staying. I think it was like a 50-minute drive. So we were up early. We were up before the birds. And so I was wearing a couple of layers for this day because I knew it was going to heat up once the sun was rising. Anyway, for this day, I was wearing my navy jumper again. I was also wearing my vest because even though it was cold and I probably could have done with my jacket, especially early on in the morning, I prefer having the movement if I can get away with it. And I could just get away with it this morning. So obviously also wearing my scarf and my gloves, my hiking boots. And again, because it was pretty well covered, I was wearing my bucket hat and I did also have my water bottle holder on me. After the campgrounds, we then made our way to Button Grass Walk in the Bunyip National Park. It was maybe my favorite walk. I just loved it. It felt a bit more bush, although there was kind of like 3 or 4 distinct areas, it felt like. By the time we had got here, it was starting to heat up a little bit and this was a little bit more exposed. I probably could have done with actually having a hat, but I did take my jumper off. So I kind of still had my vest on, but underneath the jumper, I was already wearing my striped like pink, white and navy top. And between that and the vest, that was more than enough, especially by the end of the walk. By the time we got back, I was like feeling pretty warm. So I'm very glad. I'm very glad I had that forethought to have some like layering options for that day because I needed it. I know it might sound silly, like obviously when I'm going birding, I'm much more thinking about like practicality and being comfortable, but I actually thought this outfit was really cute. I don't know, I loved like the navy pink and white stripe with that vest. And I also loved how all of that looked with that more kind of like olivey greeny pants. And clearly the birds liked it too because we saw so many and it was just the best time. And honestly, after that we were just knackered. So we went home. I think Blair fell asleep. I did some reading, some knitting, just had like a really leisurely kind of like late morning, early afternoon. After that though, we were ready to get back at it, weren't we? We decided we did want to go birding again this afternoon, but we didn't want it to be like a too big a deal because we were feeling pretty tired. So we ended up finding this place called Heinings Farm Park, which was pretty close by to where we were staying. And we ended up running into a lady there actually who explained to us that this used to be like kind of like dairy farm land that had been rehabilitated. And it was just wonderful. We've been to a few places that are like farmland that are being rehabilitated. The first that comes to mind is Serendip Sanctuary. And this was just night and day as far as Serendip and my experience. I didn't have a good time at Serendip, partly because in a lot of ways it's kind of a zoo. It's sort of in this weird grey space. This was not like that at all. It was just genuinely rehabilitated land that they were trying to make as good for animals and birds as they could. And it was just, oh, it was so special. It was just such a wonderful walk. Anyway, the outfit, I haven't told you what I was wearing. I was just wearing what I'd been wearing like for the rest of that day after we got back from Bunyip Park. I just wanted to be comfortable, basically. So I was wearing my brown linen pants and then one of my stripy tops, the pink one, and my cardigan. I'd just been wearing this around the house, as I said, reading and knitting. And so I just threw on my hat and my shoes when we decided to head out to Heinings Farm Park. And like I said, we just had the best time. We had such a good time that, again, we had plans to go home, get changed, go out for dinner, and we ran out of time. The sun was setting and we're like rushing to the car. And indeed, we did miss the kitchen cutoff for dinner, but I also wouldn't change it for the world. We had such a wonderful time. So good, in fact, that we decided to go back there the next morning. This was our very last day of our holiday. And we were lucky enough to have an 11 o'clock checkout. So we decided that we wanted to go birding somewhere, come home, have a shower, kind of pack up and then leave, which meant that we couldn't go birding anywhere too far away. And Blair was just really keen to go back to Heinings Farm, and I wasn't going to argue with that. And I did try to take some outfit footage for you, but another one of those moments, a bunch of king parrots, which were lifers for us on this trip, were coming up and saying hello to us this morning. And these were a lifer bird for us earlier in the week. We'd caught a glimpse or two of them, you know, whereas there was like 15 of them just like hanging out on our balcony. And so obviously I was very distracted, very distracted by these gorgeous birds that was so confident. I just couldn't get over it. So this is the outfit that I wore, but obviously I was paying more attention to the parrots than I was to the camera. And I'm sorry about that. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry about that. Again, it was just one of those moments that you just kind of can't believe it's happening, you know? This was the day that actually was expected to be pretty warm. Obviously, we're getting up like as the sun's rising. Well, we're arriving where we're going as the sun's rising. We're getting up well before that. And so it's still pretty fresh, especially like up in the mountains, you know? So I decided to wear my green long sleeve merino knit along with my vest. I was also wearing my pink hat. And then I did have my gloves and my scarf, which I was thankful for because especially really early in the morning, I was cold. I was cold at the beginning of this walk, but it warmed up pretty quickly. And I swear to God, when it got to around like, I think it was like 8:40, 8:50, it literally changed in an instant. There was like this wind that came through and all of a sudden it was hot. It was so weird. So I was very glad that I wore what I did because obviously I was cold when we started out our walk and hot by the end of it. So I felt like I was kind of dressed for somewhere in the middle. So I think given the circumstances and given my limited wardrobe, this was just about the perfect outfit. And again, I thought it was heckin' adorable. After that, it was time to head home, have a shower, pack up. And by this point, it was hot. And so finally, I got to whip out a t-shirt and my skirt. I did have my cardigan like on me, but I don't think I really wore it all that much. But I did also take a hat because we did stop a couple of times on the way back to Melbourne just for like little short like sticky beaks at different places to look at some more birds because of course we did. And so those are all the outfits that I wore on our little birding trip up to Warburton. Like I said, there were kind of like 3, maybe 4 like outfit opportunities, whether it was dinner or more birding, that I had anticipated I would need outfits for that we didn't end up going to, which did mean that there was like a bit less rotation in my clothes than like I had like allowed for, I suppose. Having said that, there were only 2 things that I did not wear. One of them was my raincoat, which I was kind of anticipating anyway, and the other was one of my t-shirts. I wore everything else at least once. And so I'm really glad I packed what I did and I packed as much as I did because Like if we had have been able to bird those extra 2 times and actually gone to dinner those 2 times, I would have gotten even more rotation out of my clothing. And I was already kind of like bumping up to the limits of what I had taken. So if I can, I am always someone who would rather pack an extra thing or 2 to give myself options, because I know how picky I can be, both in terms of like what I'm wearing on any given day and like the temperature and stuff. And so yeah, I'm just glad. I'm really happy with what I took, and I could not be happier with how wonderful our holiday was. And like I said, we ended up seeing 63 different birds. We identified 18 of those were lifers, birds we had never seen before. And it was just the best time. It was just the best time, and I was comfortable and I was cute the entire time. What more can you ask? A big thank you to my wonderful patrons over on Patreon who support me and my channel, and especially big thank you to Belinda, Haley, and Livia. I said them in a different order this time. How exciting! I'll see you again next week. Bye!